The guest cell is already waiting when the road has grown too dark for another mile. It is not a room made for possession. It is a narrow place inside stone, prepared for someone who will sleep, rise, and leave most belongings tied together by morning. A low lamp warms one side of the wall. The light reaches the bench, the folded blanket, the cup on the ledge, and the latch that can be found by hand from inside. Near the wall, a travel bundle rests where it was set down. The knot has not been loosened. Dust still clings to the cloth along the lower fold, and the cord keeps the road gathered in one shape. The room offers no welcome in words. Its welcome is practical. A place to sit, a surface for a cup, a blanket rough enough to scratch, but clean enough to use, a door that can close without a heavy lock. The doorway keeps the first part of the night quiet. The threshold is worn low where many feet have crossed, but the dust does not travel far across the floor. It settles near the stone lip, as if the room itself asked the road to stop there. Inside, the air is warmer than the passage. Not warm in a comfortable or festive way, only warmer by a small measure, enough for fingers to loosen and shoulders to drop. The lamp has been trimmed low, so the corners remain dark and the useful things stay close. The bench stands against the wall, plain and narrow. It does not promise softness. One edge has been rubbed smoother than the rest by hands, knees, and bundles lifted from the floor. The folded blanket lies across it, with its corners squared by someone who knew that tiredness can make even small searches feel heavy. The blanket is not fine wool. Its fibers are coarse, with a few darker threads caught in the weave. It has the smell of storage, lamp smoke, and dry stone. Still, it has been placed where it can be taken without moving through the room twice. The cup waits on a shallow ledge. It is clay, or perhaps wood darkened by use. Its rim catches the lamp for a moment, then the light falls away. It is not clean in the way of display. It is clean in the way of use, rinsed, set down, and left where a thirsty hand can find it. A traveler might leave the bundle closed for many reasons. The stay may be too short. The hour may be too late. The road may begin again before full daylight. Nothing in the room demands that the bundle become part of the place. It is allowed to remain itself, tied, dusty, and temporary. That is part of the kindness here. The cell does not ask for a story. It does not ask the traveler to settle, explain, or unpack more than the night requires. It gives a margin between arrival and departure, and inside that margin the body can stop holding itself so tightly. The latch is simple wood darkened where many hands have lifted it. It is not a prison lock. It is a small bar, a way to make the room smaller and less exposed. When it falls into place, the passage outside becomes quieter. Footsteps beyond the door belong to the building again, not to the person trying to rest. The latch has a worn notch at one end. The grain has been polished by the same movement repeated in different seasons, under different weather, by people whose names have not stayed in the wood. In the low light, the mark of touch is more certain than any written record could be. The narrow window admits cold air in a measured thread. The opening is not large enough for a view, only for breath. Outside, the night remains a dark square held by thick stone. No storm needs to press against it. No danger needs to gather there. The outside is simply outside, and the cell keeps it at a distance. Below the window, the wall is uneven. Lime has loosened in small patches. A little dampness darkens the stone where the cold gathers first. The lamp does not reach that part fully, and the shadow makes the room feel older without making it severe. The bundle cord lies against the cloth with a twist that still remembers the hand that tied it. A loose end points toward the floor. Road dust has settled into the fold beneath it. If morning comes early, The cord can be taken up quickly, and the bundle can return to the shoulder without confusion. There is comfort in that restraint. Not every belonging must be spread out to make rest possible. Some things remain gathered because the person who carries them is only passing through. The room understands this without turning it into sorrow. The cup and blanket answer different kinds of tiredness. The cup waits for the dry mouth that comes after walking. The blanket waits for the ache at the back of the neck and the shoulders. Both have been placed before they are needed, and that is enough to change the hour. The bench, the ledge, and the floor keep the scale of the room close to the body. Nothing is high or grand. Nothing asks the eyes to travel upward. The useful things stay near hands, knees, feet, and breath. Near the threshold, a faint sole mark has dried in the dust. It is not dramatic. It is a partial curve, already soft at the edge. It shows that the road entered only a little way, then thinned into the room's quieter order. A bare wall peg remains above the bench. Nothing hangs from it tonight. The emptiness is not abandonment. It simply means the bundle has stayed closed, and the traveler has chosen not to claim more space than one night requires. The peg casts a small shadow down the plaster. That shadow has its own calm because it belongs to something useful, even unused. It marks the possibility of hanging a cloak, a pouch, or a strap, then lets the possibility pass. By the middle of the night, the cell has become less a room than a pause held inside stone. The lamp burns low. The cup does not move. The folded blanket has taken a little more of the room's warmth. The bundle remains tied, but it no longer feels entirely outside the shelter. Nothing here turns poverty into display. The wood is plain because plain wood was enough. The blanket is rough, because rough cloth was what could be spared. The cup is small because a small cup still serves. The cell is not generous in size, yet it is generous in timing. That timing matters. The room has been made ready before exhaustion reaches it. The latch is reachable before fear needs to rise. The cup is there before thirst becomes another task. The blanket is folded before the body has to choose between sitting and sleeping. A stool waits near the bench, pushed slightly aside. It may have held a bundle for a moment, or a hand while the latch was checked. Its legs are uneven enough to belong to the room without drawing attention. It adds one more small surface to the night. The floor is cool beneath everything. Rushes or straw are thin here, not thick enough to hide the stone. A few pieces have caught near the bench leg. They soften almost nothing, but they change the sound of a footstep, and sometimes that is the kind of mercy a narrow room can give. The longer the night settles, the less the room feels empty. It is filled by placement rather than possession. The cup near the ledge, the blanket on the bench, the tied bundle by the wall, the latch inside the door, the window holding back the dark. There is no need to imagine the traveler clearly. The traces are enough. A bundle left mostly closed. Dust stopped at the threshold. A blanket not yet disturbed, or perhaps disturbed only slightly. A cup waiting with its rim turned toward the lamp. In another part of the building someone may still be awake. A footstep may pass along the corridor and fade. The guest cell keeps its own low measure. The door holds. The lamp lowers. The room returns each sound to the stone without sharpening it. This is rest without ownership. It is not loneliness, and it is not belonging. It is the quieter condition between them, when a person is sheltered but not settled, received but not claimed, allowed to keep the road tied in cloth until morning. The morning has already been considered in the way the bundle rests. The cord is not tangled. The cup is not hidden. The latch will lift easily. The blanket can be folded again with little effort. Departure has not been made grand, only possible. A shallow niche in the wall holds nothing more than shadow. It may have held a folded cloth earlier, or a bit of rush, or a small personal thing that has already been returned to the bundle. Its emptiness gives the room a kind of honesty. Not everything useful must be visible at once. Near the bench, the stone floor changes color where many feet have paused. The darker patches small, worn into the place by arrivals that did not become stories. Someone came in tired, lowered a bundle, sat for a while, and left again when the building began to stir. The lamp has its own plain labor. It does not flood the cell. It protects only a little circle of use, enough for the latch, the cup, the blanket, and the tied cloth by the wall. Beyond that circle, the darkness is allowed to remain, because sleep is helped by what the room does not insist on showing. A folded cloth lies near the cup, not large enough to change the room, but enough to keep the ledge from feeling bare. It might have dried a rim, covered a hand, or softened the sound of clay on stone. Its purpose is small, and that smallness fits the hour. The corridor outside has a different stillness. Its air is cooler and more hollow. The closed door does not shut that world away completely, but it reduces it to a presence at the edge, something known and no longer urgent. The guest cell has been used by people who did not leave much behind. That is why the weir is quiet. No carved name is needed. No mark has to announce who slept here. The proof is in smoother wood, dulled stone, loosened plaster, and the careful place where the cup has been set down again and again. The traveler who rests here may keep one hand near the bundle at first. Then a hand may loosen. The knot stays tied, but the need to hold it lessens. A room prepared in this way does not remove the road from the body all at once. It lets the road lose its weight slowly. Later, the blanket may be drawn closer without unfolding fully. The cup may remain untouched. The stool may be ignored. Prepared things are still useful, even when they are not used. Their presence lowers the number of decisions a tired person must make in the dark. This is why the cell can remain spare without feeling empty. It has been arranged for the smallest needs: thirst, cold, privacy, breath, and the simple relief of setting something down. None of these needs is grand, and none has to become grand matter. The window and the latch work together in silence. One gives a little air. The other keeps the passage at a distance. Between them, the room holds a narrow balance. Not sealed away, not exposed, not home, not road. The tied bundle keeps the future close, but not demanding. Morning is inside the knot, inside the folded cloth, inside the dust that will be shaken off later. For now the knot can wait. The morning does not have to be rehearsed before sleep. A small room can be merciful when it does not ask for attention. The bench does not ask to be admired. The cup does not ask to be praised. The blanket does not ask to be softened into something finer. Each one is enough in its own plain way. The small lamp does not brighten the room evenly. It leaves the ceiling in darkness and keeps its warmth low, close to the bench and the ledge. That lower light suits the cell, because all the useful things belong near the hand rather than above the head. The passage beyond the door is colder, not with drama but with ordinary stone that has held the night for hours. A little of that cold reaches under the threshold, then weakens among dust, straw, and the warmer breath of the room. A traveler who sleeps here may not remember the shape of the window later. The body may remember something smaller, the latch within reach, the cup near the wall, the relief of not needing to open the bundle completely. Even the silence has been prepared by use. Hinges have been kept plain. The bench has been pushed close enough to the wall. The cup has not been left on the floor where it might be kicked in the dark. Toward the later dark, the lamp weakens. The cup rim loses its brief shine. The wall Peg becomes a mark inside shadow. The window grows colder, but the cold remains at the edge of the room, gathered near stone and not across the whole body. The bench end darkens before the blanket does. The wool holds the last warmth a little longer, just enough to keep its outline. The tied bundle is now only a low shape near the wall, but the knot still has its purpose. A room like this is not remembered through ceremony. It is remembered through the absence of difficulty. Nothing had to be searched for in the dark. Nothing had to be explained. Nothing had to be opened before rest could begin. The cell keeps its kindness small enough to survive the night. It gives a cup, a latch, a blanket, a bench, a little air, and a corner for the road to remain tied. Each part is modest, and together they make the hour less sharp. The final quiet gathers near the floor. Dust, cloth, wood, and stone lose their edges. The passage outside has gone still. The lamp is low, but not yet gone, and the room seems to hold one more slow breath before morning. The bundle stays packed. The blanket stays near. The cup waits where it was placed. Nothing asks to be finished now. For this one night, the guest cell has done enough. It has kept the road outside the door, held the cold near the window, and left a tired body a small, honest place to sleep.